Uh, Here we go. Band of Brothers, right? Episode 7, right? I'm starting to huff and puff at this point because when this show is over, I'm gonna miss it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll start off by saying this was my favorite episode so far, man. Like you know, and I'm gonna run through some stuff because I think you still watching it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was my favorite episode. And I mean, like, if the fans don't know, to be transparent, you just got back. You just got back
Yeah.
from Hawaii, and just the dedication, man, and commitment to just come back and sit
Round the
down,
grind,
man.
man. Round the
It's
grind.
admirable, man. It's admirable. I mean, so yeah. So the first part is called the breaking point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first part, the confessional where the guy come in and he's talking about just you never forget like these events, you know. It's a lot of death in this episode. A lot. I think we see more people die in this episode than any other episode.
Yeah.
And if you halfway through, it's still more.
Yeah.
So this is like January 2nd, 1945, Belgium, right there in Belgium. Who, he pulled a cheddar bob, man. Shot himself, And at first I was like, he pulled a cheddar bob, and I thought it was funny. That's my brother calling me. It's his birthday. Let me see what he talk about. All right, so back to it. So if anybody hears, it's not going to be clean. That was an edit point. My brother called me. He had a bachelor party for one of my friends who's getting married. So they going crazy. So that was an edit point. But all right, so we back. So we're at everybody looking for Dyke, right? That's throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
Where's Dyke? Where's Dyke? Where's Dyke? And it's told. This episode's told from the point of view of Lipton, First Sergeant Lipton. Man, it's the best. This to me is the best episode, best point of view, best everything, man. And it's crazy how the show could take every single character and make them important, like every episode, like new character. So and he was talking about Dyke. He said Dyke wasn't a bad leader because he made bad decisions. He was a bad leader because he made no decisions. And that
was hardcore.
That right. I know that stuck out, man.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm gonna give away most of the episode as I talk. But that whole aspect of talking shit about your leaders when they ain't around, like everybody was talking about Dyke. Like whenever Dyke wasn't around, they had something to say about Dyke, man. But Lipton, man, he did what you supposed to do, no matter how he felt about Dyke. Yes. He stopped. He came and he kind of like stopped it. You know what I mean? I think the editing was real sharp in this episode, especially when Winters was discussing who could run Easy Company. It reminded me of something like Tarantino or Scorsese would do, where you bring up somebody, then they go flashback scene. Buck Compton was being considered the lead Easy Company at the time. It was Buck. So Buck was the guy they was thinking about. You brought up how these guys be shaving, man. Like I think Winters was shaving in this episode. Is weird.
Yeah,
like, these dudes staying squared away in the middle of like war.
Nowhere.
So Dyke, man, he really told Lip, like he said, get things organized as he goes for help. You know what I'm saying? So these are guys that's like already they can't find you. Now you talking to your the guy that's in command of your troops, but you're the commanding officer of that that unit, and you tell this guy to get everybody together while you go you go for help. And then it's like, remember the dude, I don't know where you got to it, but Joe, he one of the barrages, ripped his leg off or whatever, right? It did. It happened again. Like he got caught in a barrage again trying to get to safety. His dude he said, "What's a guy got to do to get killed around here?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I found that funny, man. And then just for these guys to still have a sense of humor through all that was, inspiring.
Leg gone, leg off.
Yeah,
that's why he talking. Gone.
Buck Compton, man, he was messed up after that. Yeah. I think you got there. Like he just wasn't the same person after that, right?
Yeah.
Like it just was, and they understood. Like it wasn't like they, had no ill will toward him because of that. That took him out the running for replacing Dyke. He was like the number one guy that they thought would replace Dyke. I had a question for you. Do you think that people do what Lipton did for Dyke in the Navy now? Like, so for instance, you think a first class, go to a group of junior sailors and like speak well in representation of their chief, in the midst of the junior sellers talking shit about them, or do you think they would ignore it? If you do think it, what you think is the ratio of that?
Well,
Like how
first
often?
I'm gonna say I will hope they would. But do I think it happens? I would say no. But I also think it depends on the relationship that the chief have with the first class also. Right?
Right.
Because it's a lot of things like people lead from all different, ways they try to lead from. And one of those ways is if you bring in your first class in and he have more info than the troops may have, right? And
Yeah.
maybe he could explain some situations better than, better to the troops than, they don't know the whole stories. But if he in the same dark like everybody else, he or she is probably gonna just join in, like, yeah, he's not a good lead. You know what I mean? May not
Yeah.
know. So, but do I think, because believe it or not, man, sometimes and it's my opinion that I believe we in a world where we trying to make people like us too
Mm-hmm.
much. Right. And I think we in a world making people like us, we kind of like sit back and just listen. Even though we may want to say something, but we don't want to be that person now. These guys may not like me no more if I try to do this or I try to do that. So sometimes we in that type of environment. But some people don't understand is you may get more respect by saying something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but I just think that's what type of world we in right now, man. We want people to like us, so we may not, come out and say things or take up for or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So I got a question for anybody listening, whether you're a junior seller or you've been in a position before. If you have been in that position where you heard somebody, saying something bad about a superior and you didn't stop them, whether you agree with them or not, but you didn't stop them, why didn't you? Is it a reason why? Is it, something that you wanted to see happen or something that you felt strongly about that you didn't stop them? So pretty much if you never saw Band of Brothers, the Dyke was their commanding officer. He was pretty much defunct. He never was around. And the junior guys was talking shit about him. And then one of their, more senior guys was like, nah, you pretty much nah, we can't do that. We don't do that. Don't do that. Or whatever. So if you
Hey,
ever what's up?
I got a story because I know somebody like, well, somebody probably on the pod or listening to me, well, what have you ever been in that type of situation? I'm gonna give a real quick two different scenarios that I was in before. And I'll tell you what I done. Like it was, we had, in my opinion, we didn't have a good chief. And me and my, fellow first classes in the same division, we was talking about the chief, right? So it was like
Mm-hmm.
us, talking blah blah blah, all type of shit or whatever. But then one day we was all together and we had junior sailors around, and the second class said something about the chief, and I stepped in.
Yeah.
And mostly because of all the junior, regardless, I don't want the junior sailors to hear us, what I mean, having conversations like that. You got E3s, E2s, whatever around. So I kind of cut it off right there. But that was the difference in me being with my peers, talking first, first classes, and then, a lot of junior sailors around too. So that was kind of one of the scenarios that I had before in my career.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a thing I'm interested in if the
Yeah,
listeners ever
most
been
definitely.
through it, right? Hit after hit, they kept taking hits, man. Eventually, I can't wait till I get to where I get to the part that you didn't see yet. So a dud hit a foxhole, right? And then another shell hit that wasn't a dud, and two other people died. It took a lot out of Lip to make that report about Dyke. So Lip went to Winners and told Winners that Dyke was an empty uniform. I don't know if you saw that part. But
No.
Lip actually went to Winners and talked to him, and he was like, "Hey, and he was like real humbled, and it was lit, man. He's stand up guy, man." But he was saying he believed that lives would be lost on account of Dyke. And he's like, he's an empty uniform. We already know that Winners kind of knows that. Like every time he look
Mm-hmm.
back and say, "Hey, right, Dyke," and then Dyke is like gone. Dyke crapped out, man. He crapped out. He froze. He couldn't make a decision. Like the shit went down, bro. Like they went.
Oh shit! I gotta
Yeah,
watch
shit
this.
went
I
down.
gotta back in.
It, it,
Yeah.
it went down. Dyke froze. He froze. He couldn't make a decision. He crapped out. He caused people to die. What he was
Wow.
saying to do caused people to die. It's people in his face. Like, what's next? So he got people in his face saying what to do. He giving them bad orders. Then he also got the people telling him that Winters is on the phone trying to get in contact with him or whatever, and he's not grabbing the phone. So he got things coming from all over. He couldn't make it, man. He wasn't cut out for it. Like I said, this is my favorite episode. I think because I could relate to it the most, right? So I've been in Lipton's position and I've been in Winter's position before. I've been in a position of um, the junior seller that like was caught up in a mix and felt like I was under somebody that wasn't doing their greatest. Then I've been in a position of a superior who had a junior seller that approached me because they felt like the person between us wasn't doing their greatest. So I've been in that position, a few ways. So Spears came in, yo, the dude. So I'm spoiling it for you, of course, because we reviewing it for this
Yeah,
episode, right?
that's fine.
But so oh boy gets pulled, right? He done. Dyke, he gets pulled. They pull this dude named Spears in that they talked about, some rumors about him just being a man. He came in, he laid the play down, man, and he led from the front. He laid the play down properly. He led from the front, man. Like he runs through enemy fire. Like he's like he like superheroes. And he go through enemy fire. They don't even shoot him, yo. He just like they like shocked that he doing it. Like he go in, he run the play. Good. He take over. He get the men in there, and they get a little dub. Then this sniper gets weird, and I ain't gonna get that up as a spoiler. Lip is the man for that move that he did to kind of succumb to sniper. But I don't want to talk about the sniper thing. You gotta watch it though. Lip is the man. Super humble, real cool, man. Donnie Wahlberg, good stuff. The episode ended one of the best ends of an episode, man. I kind of don't want to give it away now because you gotta watch it though. This out of all of their episodes, this one ended really good with some real good news and a really good scene, man. Really good, man. Real good episode.
Good, man. That's good. I'm most definitely gonna finish it, man. But I just wanted to say about the part that I got to, which I got like I think 40 something minutes in, and it was like it was the breaking point, man. Everybody, it was a lot, all the stuff you said, but it was multiple people broke in this one, man. In this episode, there's a lot of death and a lot of people broke in this one, man, and a lot of people we've been watching for a long time, either dead or out the fight,
it's coming to a head.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of that in this. It was most definitely good as hell from the time I watched it anyway. So I can't wait to finish it now, man. But a good movie. I mean, a good TV show, man. It seems like every episode is getting better.
Yeah.